event component not defined. Event demo component is not registered here. Event demo thing. Events demo. Okay. Fine. So this is the component. So, and it is working fine, right? Events demo in the index. Events demo in the index. Right. Yeah. So how the other events are configured, a simple point I will show you. So just the basic thing is, so we want some actions to perform. So all these events are general JavaScript based events, and div class, so container, okay. And here I'm adding a div, so class, so some from form group, and the label. And here we defined some option like any name in name, username, and I will keep a text box here. Input type is equal to text, and I'm defining class as form control, and a placeholder, so name in block letters, like this. Just a placeholder I configured there. So our intention is to ask them to enter the name which should be in block letters. Now once he start typing into it, so that placeholder will be gone. So then what we are doing is, so we are adding a simple span here, adding a span here. So we need to display a message. So when this element gets focus, so that means we need to write an event. So here we will configure that event, and I will define here. So on name focus, on name focus is a method. So just define this method. Okay. On name focus should be called. Similarly, another one is on name blur. Blur means it lost focus. So on name focus, I need to display some message. So then public MSG is initially empty. And when name get focus, so then this dot MSG should just display name in block letters only, like this message to display. And when name blur, then this dot message will be again empty. Blur means when it lost the focus. And I will keep the message inside this span. So here MSG. So when the element gets focus, that means I click inside this text box, then that message should come here. So and display that here, right? So the name gets focus. Right? What is problem here? Okay, we have to call that events. We haven't written that. So here on the text box, so we have two events, focus. We have to call on focus, on name focus. And we have blur. On blur, we have to call on name blur. On name blur methods must be called. So when you go to the design and you click inside this text box now, so that message will come. So it will be there while you are typing the name. Right? Once you finish the name, then it will be hidden. Blur means when it loses the focus, that means you click outside somewhere, Again, you click inside the text box, that message will come. Because placeholder will not be there, will not be no longer available. So if you are having some value inside it, so keep on showing the status that you can do on focus, and on blur it will be gone. Actually, we can use tooltips also, screen tips, tooltips, pop-ups we can use for displaying such messages also on focus and on blur. So have you attended yesterday's material workshop? Have you attended, you people, yesterday's Angular material workshop? Right. So in that materials concept, you have tooltips also. You have tooltips, you have pop-ups. If you have attended that, you know how to handle materials now. So have you tried integrating it? Any of you? Have you tried integrating that? You attended yesterday, sir? Right. So if you tried, you might have seen that components, you have tooltips, you have spinners, you have a lot of things. You can use those tooltips. So instead of using a span or displaying a message, but here our intention is not only just showing the message. Suppose user finished typing the text inside it, and it is not converted into uppercase. So what we can do is here, he's not typing in uppercase, we can convert into uppercase. So generally how we can manage that? So we will use another property, public txt name, and it is empty. And this txt name will be binded to this text box. So by using a two-way binding technique, that means through ng model, we will bind that txt name here, txt name through the two-way binding technique, and it is there. And what happens now is when user enters, we can collect the value. So in the logic, what we are doing is when blur happens, we will put this dot txt name is equal to this dot txt name. That means whatever the name they entered, we collected the name and assigning to the same text box again. The name collected from text box assigned to the same text box, but this time to uppercase, we will convert into uppercase. Converting into uppercase, we are assigning to the same text box again. So this, what will happen is now I click, I type something, and I click outside or press tab to lose the focus. When focus is lost, it is converted into uppercase. So that means I click here, I am typing something, and I click outside, it will be uppercase. I am adding inside it and click outside, it will be uppercase. So these are the general events we manage on blur, on cut, on copy. Like you can handle all other events. Suppose I performed action like cut, like copy, right? We can define various types of events actually. For example, suppose configure like, so when cut happens, right, here we are defining additional events like public on cut, okay, and this dot msg is equal to, so removed and copied to clipboard, this message should come. And similarly, so on copy and this dot msg is equal to copied to clipboard. We are displaying this message. So and public on paste. So this dot msg is equal to inserted from clipboard. So these are the actions we have defined, and I will just link up those events